Basically, God didn't punish us because of our whims and desire. No. But God punished us, and that's why in the Quran, the command of God is start gradually. Like for example, God commanded the women and the man to lower your gaze. Why lower your gaze?
Let's first assume the heart is not corrupted, like it's not being done right now. You're saying sin is something, when you do it, you feel guilty inside, you feel something bad inside. And something that's not sinful would be something you want to share, you have to take pride in.
There is a supporting definition.
What's the supporting definition?
The first definition is, sin is that whatever that God prohibit us to do, and we do, that is sin.
How do you know what God prohibited us to?
That's why we refer back to the books.
To the Torah, the Moses?
No, if let's say for example we talk about the Quran, there's one chapter in the Quran called Surah Al-Furqan, chapter 25. We call it as the criterion.
Okay, what are the criteria?
Okay, like for example, if God say, do not commit adultery,
Right.
that is a sin. So when we say, what is sin? Sin is that when you go against the commandment of God. Of course, not all the sins are the same. There are different degrees. You have minor sins, you have major sins.
So do you think it's possible for a human being to be sinless?
No,
So because of how humans are created?
because
Why?
the Prophet say that every children of Adam will commit sin, and the best of sinners are the one who repent. Right? That every human being, we need desire, but that desire is like a wild horse. A wild horse that you get from the wild. Now, if you know how to train a wild horse, it will serve your purpose correctly. But if you allow the wild horse, okay, to go rampant, it will cause a lot of injuries. So our desire is like that. Basically, God didn't punish us because of our whims and desire. No. But God punished us of the decisions that we make from the whims of the desire. Even right now, when we sit here, we have desire to do a lot of things. But do you act upon it? If it's a bad desire, like for example, I feel like I don't like Firdaus. I feel like I have a desire to punch him on the face. Now, you haven't do it, you have not sinned yet.
So
You
the
haven't
thought
seen-
of it is not a sin.
No. And that's why in the Quran, the command of God is start gradually. Like for example, God commanded the women and the man to lower your gaze. Why lower your gaze? Lower your gaze is because when you look towards opposite sex, it's all begin with your thought. Now this thought comes from where? From what you hear and what you see. And most of the time it's what you see. Just imagine if you see no evil, hear no evil. Those thoughts will not come to you. But when you start to see, as a man, what will happen? You will start to imagine. That is the imagination run wild. Now, from there, will you act upon that imagination? That's why when those people who commit those kind of crime like rape, it's just out of the sensations. And after that, people who kill another person, now they have a desire, the anger. God will not punish you because of your anger. But God will only punish you how you react on the anger. You see, how God is so much of love and merciful is that when you have a good intentions to do something good, even you didn't do it, just because you have the intention to do it, you are already being rewarded by God one time. When you act upon it, you get another reward. But if you have an intention to do bad things, you haven't do it, God will not punish you for that. That's why the scholars of Islam say, only a fool will enter hell.
That's your point. So then, why would you say that no man can be sinless? Because you're saying like, okay, everyone has desire, right? That's fair. But you're saying if you don't act on those desire, that's not sin, right?
We will have sin. We will have sin regardless how big or how small.
I thought you said the definition of sin is like the act of
Yes,
committing those desires.
but we will commit it. We will commit in the sense that somehow
what's the verse that says like we will submit to the desires?
chapter 45 verse number 23, God says, don't you see those people who take their whims and desire as their own gods, a gods that they will obey and they worship. So you see, there are different level of people. Some people who are really purified, they stay away, but they will still have some sin in the sense that their intentions when they are doing certain act might not be really sincere. They might want to show off. That can be a sin by itself.
Right.
Like for example, if I'm giving my talk just now, if my intention is to show off,
Right.
you do not know. Only God knows.
Sure.
Did I sin? That sin you didn't see. But that sin God see. So that is a sin too. And because we are not angels, angels, their faith is keep increasing. Okay? The prophet, their faith is increasing. We as a normal human being, is that we are like the ECG.
Okay.
We have to admit that. We will go up and down. If you just keep on going, are you being truthful to yourself?
So okay.
You see, whenever I say something, I try to be as frank as possible. I do not to sugarcoat anything.
Okay.
Because
Which I appreciate. Yeah,
because
thank you.
if we were to sugarcoat anything, people can just Google and they can find the answer for what? What's the reason? What's the point?
أنت